Imagine trying to stitch together someone's entire existence, from birth to farewell, using just fragments.
Mm-hmm.
Things like census records,
Yeah.
old directories, maybe newspaper clippings. It really is like a historical detective story, isn't it?
It really is. Each little piece is a clue.
Exactly. Revealing another layer of a life lived. Today we're taking a deep dive into the meticulously documented life of Myrtle Irene Currey. She was born right at the close of the 19th century.
Yeah.
And our mission here is to trace her journey, uncover some surprising turns, and really try to understand what her story tells us about an entire era.
And what's remarkable, I think, is the sheer volume and variety of sources we actually have for Myrtle.
Right.
We're talking everything from, family Bibles, U.S. Census records covering decades, city directories, obituaries,
Hmm.
even specific cemetery details.
No.
It's not just a list of facts. It lets us piece together a surprisingly rich tapestry of her life. It shows how much depth you can sometimes find just in public records.
So, for you listening, whether you're perhaps delving into your own family history, or maybe you just love discovering how individual lives can reflect these bigger historical currents,
Mm-hmm.
get ready for some aha moments.
Yeah.
We're going to explore how census entries aren't just numbers, they're snapshots of a family on the move,
Yeah, little moments in time.
and how a simple job listing can hint at these really profound shifts in a woman's life and, the time she lived in. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start at the very beginning of Myrtle's journey. So, Myrtle Irene Currey. She was born January 11, 1899 in Pomeroy, which is a small town in Wyandotte County, Kansas.
Right.
And those early census snapshots, they really show her family was, on the go.
Constantly moving, it seems.
Yeah, the 1900 census puts her at just 1 year old in Delaware Township, Leavenworth County. Then by 1905, she's 6, living in Lansing.
Okay.
And then at 11 in 1910, she's recorded way over in Rooks County.
Wow. Across the state.
These records track the family's movement all across Kansas, giving us these little numerical glimpses into her childhood. What do these constant early moves tell us, do you think, about her formative years, or maybe the family dynamic?
Well, these movements are more than just, changing addresses. They probably indicate a life that fostered adaptability and maybe resilience, right, from a really young age.
Makes sense.
A lot of families back then, early 20th century rural Kansas, they were often chasing economic opportunities, moving for better land, maybe work, or just a fresh start.
Right.
So for a child like Myrtle, growing up with that kind of mobility, it would have meant constantly adjusting. New places, new people. It likely built a certain hardiness.
Yeah, you'd have to be tough.
It was definitely an era where the idea of settling down wasn't always static, especially out on the frontier edges.
That makes perfect sense. And speaking of significant shifts, this sort of nomadic early life, it really set the stage for a much bigger change.
Mm-hmm.
Around 1914, when she was about 15, Myrtle made a really pivotal move to Kansas City, Missouri.
Big city life.
Yeah, this wasn't just another small town. It was a growing urban center. What kind of experience would that have been, moving from rural Kansas to a place like Kansas City back then?
Oh, it would have been a world apart, truly. Imagine leaving that, quiet agricultural landscape for a bustling city.
Totally different.
Kansas City had streetcars, factories, lots of different kinds of people. It represented a huge leap. Opportunities, sure, but also maybe independence.
Right.
The records show she initially lived with her aunt, Elizabeth Jane Currey Ribgee, which probably offered some support.
Okay, a bit of a safety net.
Exactly. But then she moved multiple times within the city in just a couple of years. We see addresses like 3816 Paseo, then 2808 Peary Ave, then 1225 E 23rd in North Kansas City.
Wow, still moving around.
Yeah, this pattern isn't just about addresses. It kind of speaks to a young woman finding her footing, maybe working her first jobs, navigating this really dynamic urban environment.
Mhm.
It was a magnet for people seeking a different future than rural life offered.
And it reflects that bigger trend too, right? People moving from farms to cities.
Absolutely. That great migration was well underway.
Kansas City certainly offered a stark contrast to her childhood. But Myrtle's journey, her transformation, it was far from over.
None at all.
At just 17, around 1916, she made another key move. This one would really anchor her life for decades. She arrived in Dodge City, Kansas.
Ah, Dodge City. This is where things really start to solidify for her.
Exactly. This is where her story truly takes root, and she begins to build her own family. Her first marriage was to a Claude E. Gaskell. Now, this is actually a great example of how different sources can sometimes have slight variations.
You see that a lot in genealogy.
Yeah, and a part of our deep dive is trying to reconcile those details. While her obituary says they married in 1916,
Okay.
other reports, which seem supported by county records and even newspaper briefs from the time, they specify the date as March 24th, 1917, right there in Dodge City.
So a slight discrepancy, but the records point to 1917.
Seems likely. And Claude himself, he was born September 4, 1890, in Ray, Colorado. He actually served in the military in Dodge City in 1917.
Ah, okay, that might be what brought him there then.
Could be. By the 1920 census, he's listed as a carpenter in Dodge City. And by 1925, he was working for the AT&SF Railroad.
The Santa Fe Railroad, right? Big employer there.
Exactly. And together, Myrtle and Claude, they had 4 daughters. Dorothy Irene Gaskell, born 1918 in Fort Dodge.
Just outside Dodge City.
Right. Then Billy Louise Gaskell in 1919, Marjorie May Gaskell in 1921, and Ruth Jean Gaskell in 1925. The last 3, all born right in Dodge City proper.
Wow, so 4 daughters in about 7 years.
Yeah, so within less than a decade, Myrtle went from this young woman arriving in a new city to a mother of 4. Quite a change.
A very busy time, no doubt. And this period, establishing the family, also brings her first noted employment that we see. She's identified as a Southwestern Bell employee in Dodge City.
Ah, okay.
That's an early glimpse into what would become actually a pretty significant part of her professional life later on. However, the 1930 census provides, well, a rather stark snapshot, a major life change.
Yeah.
It lists Myrtle Gaskell, now 32 years old, as a divorced female.
Divorced, okay.
And her employment is listed as hotel maid.
Hotel maid. Wow. That's a powerful image, isn't it? Especially considering the timing.
It really is. Can you give us a sense of what life might have actually entailed for a divorced woman supporting a family, working as a hotel maid during the Great Depression?
Oh, absolutely. That's a crucial point, and it really makes you pause. We're talking the early 1930s.
Right in the thick of it.
Exactly. The absolute height of the Great Depression, widespread unemployment, immense hardship everywhere. For a woman to be divorced back then, it still carried quite a stigma.
Socially difficult, yeah.
And to be the sole provider for 4 young daughters, I mean, that just speaks to extraordinary resilience.
Absolutely.
A hotel maid's work was physically demanding, long hours often, very low pay, probably little to no benefits.
Grueling work.
It wasn't just about earning a wage. It was navigating societal judgment, constant financial strain, and just the sheer effort of keeping a home and raising children through this unprecedented economic turmoil. It really paints a picture of a woman who just had to find a way, no matter how hard it was.
Precisely. And in that same 1930 census, we see her oldest daughter, Dorothy, listed living there with her mother.
Ah, so Dorothy was there too.
Yeah, which really highlights the shared journey through these difficult times. It wasn't just Myrtle making ends meet. It was likely a family effort, just to survive.
Wow.
This period, I think, is a powerful testament to the fortitude of so many women during the Depression. Their stories are often overlooked in those broader historical narratives that focus on, male breadwinners.
That's so true.
Myrtle's story really puts a face to that hidden strength.
That's a profound insight, really underscores the unseen struggles and strengths. But her story, it keeps evolving.
It does.
She enters a new chapter in the mid-1930s. On June 1st, 1936, Myrtle marries Everett Donald Jones in Garden City, Kansas.
Okay, a second marriage.
Yes. Donald Jones, born 1903 in Redding, Kansas, he also came from a working-class background. The 1940 census shows him working in a filling station. And later, by 1960, he was a driver for the Kansas Transport Company.
Okay.
What's also really notable here is Myrtle's own career shift during this time. The 1940 census now lists her as a telephone operator.
Ah, back with the phone company, or at least in that line of work?
Exactly. Southwestern Bell seems to be this thread. This transition, though, from hotel maid to telephone operator, it seems like more than just a job change. It feels like an upgrade, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. You're spot on. This was a significant advancement for Myrtle, and it really reflects broader shifts happening in the American workforce at the time.
How so?
Well, for a woman like Myrtle, moving from a physically demanding, often lower-wage job like hotel maid to being a telephone operator, that was a substantial step up, both in status and, likely, stability. The telecommunications industry, especially companies like Southwestern Bell, they were growing rapidly then. They were creating new jobs, often clerical or service-oriented roles that were increasingly open to women.
Yeah.
It generally offered better pay, more stable hours, and frankly, a more respectable social standing in that era.
Yeah, I can see that.
It also suggests that Myrtle, with that earlier connection to Southwestern Belle you mentioned, she either kept her skills or found ways to get back into that more professionalized, female-dominated workforce.
Hmm.
It really symbolizes the evolving landscape of women's professional lives, especially post-Depression.
It truly illustrates how an individual's career path can mirror the economic and social development of the whole country.
Yeah, it's a microhistory in a way.
And the recurrence of Dodge City as her home through 2 marriages, different jobs.
Mm.
It really anchors her story to this specific place, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It wasn't just a stop along the way. It clearly became her community.
And the records show Myrtle and Donald, her second husband, they shared a residence at 310 Kirk in Dodge City for at least 7 years, from 53 through 60. That suggests a pretty settled, stable life by then.
Definitely. And beyond her professional life, we also see Myrtle integrating into the community there.
How so? What do the records show?
Well, we see she was a member of the First Missionary Church. That indicates involvement in the spiritual and social life of the city.
Okay.
And furthermore, she kept up her professional connections through her membership in the Bell Telephone Employee Association.
Oh, right.
These memberships, they aren't just, footnotes. They speak to her commitment, to her faith, to her career, and how she built a network. A sense of support and belonging within Dodge City.
She wasn't just living there.
No, she was truly part of the fabric of the town.
It's clear Dodge City became truly her home, a place of stability, community. And it wasn't just about her immediate household, right? Her connections seem to have stretched quite far.
That's right. We get a glimpse of this wider network in August 1964. Myrtle attended a Currey family reunion way out in Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona, imagine the stories shared there, connecting dots just like we're trying to do now.
Exactly, catching up with relatives from all over. And her obituary, it gives us a clear picture of her surviving siblings at the time of her death.
Right, who were they?
There was Ernest Currey in Denver, Herbert Currey in Soda Springs, Idaho, then 3 sisters, a Mrs. Joe Walters in Round Lake, Illinois, Mrs. Alma Taylor down in Sedona, Arizona,
Ah, where the reunion was.
and another sister, Mrs. Crawford, right there in Dodge City with her.
So family was close by, too.
Yes, and of course her daughters from her first marriage were also a vital part of her life then. The obituary mentions Miss Dorothy Gaskell and Mrs. Nathan Peters, that was Marjorie, both living in Dodge City.
It really shows how deeply rooted she became, surrounded by this widespread but still connected family.
But this later period also brings a very poignant note to Myrtle's story. It shows the personal losses she endured in her later years. It's a reminder that behind every, historical record, there's a deeply human experience. Tragedy actually struck twice in 1966.
Oh, no.
Her daughter, Ruth Jean Foskel, died on June 30th of that year. And then, just a couple of months later, her daughter, Billie Louise Clare, passed away on September 7th.
Wow. Losing 2 adult children within months.
It must have been an immense sorrow, a grief that would profoundly impact any parent, of course.
Absolutely devastating.
And in her final years, the record shows Myrtle spent her last 2 years at the Good Samaritan home in Dodge City,
Okay.
which likely indicates a period where she needed more care and support.
Such profound losses, especially so close together. It certainly adds a layer of deep human experience to her story, beyond the dates and addresses.
It really does.
Myrtle Irene Jones died on July 23, 1970. She was 71 years old, and she passed away at that same Good Samaritan home in Dodge City.
Mm-hmm.
She was survived by her widower, E. Donald Jones, 2 of her daughters, Dorothy and Marjorie, 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
The ones we mentioned.
Right? And 13 grandchildren, and even 15 great-grandchildren.
Wow, quite a legacy there.
Truly extensive family legacy. She was laid to rest just 2 days later, July 25, 1970, at Maple Grove Cemetery in Dodge City. Lot 4, Block 26, Section 10, the records note.
Very specific.
And here's a final detail. It's incredibly surprising, really quite bittersweet.
What's that?
Everett Donald Jones, her husband, he died very shortly after Myrtle. Just about 2 weeks later, on August 4th, 1970, also in Dodge City.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So close together.
Yeah. He was buried in the same cemetery, Maple Grove, right next door in Lot 3, Block 26, Section 10.
Wow.
It really is a bittersweet detail, isn't it? Dying so close together. Almost as if they couldn't be without each other for long. It provides a final, very touching note to their shared life.
It certainly does. Myrtle Irene Currey's life, when you reconstruct it from all these sources, It really shows us a woman who experienced these profound changes, location, career, family dynamics, right across much of the 20th century. Her journey, from rural Kansas to bustling Kansas City and then finally settling in Dodge City, it provides this wonderful microhistory of
It really
an
does.
era marked by shifting demographics, the evolving roles for women in the workforce, and, well, the incredible resilience needed to navigate immense personal and societal challenges like the Great Depression.
Absolutely.
Her story reveals a life that maybe it seems ordinary on the surface, but it exemplifies extraordinary adaptability and fortitude.
And it really drives home how records like censuses, city directories,
Yeah.
they don't just list facts, do they? They tell a rich, nuanced story.
So much more than just data.
A story of resilience, adaptation, and that enduring human need for community, for connection.
Hmm.
From working as a hotel maid during that incredibly tough economic period, supporting 4 daughters,
Hmm.
to becoming a longtime telephone operator. Myrtle's career path tells its own tale of evolving opportunities for women in the American workforce. Her story is just a testament to the lives built and sometimes rebuilt, the losses endured, and the connections maintained through decades of change.
And this deep dive into Myrtle's life, built from these seemingly dry historical documents, it paints such a vivid picture of one woman's journey through time. It really raises an important question, I think, for all of us.
What's that?
What forgotten stories lie hidden in the public records of our own communities, just waiting to be uncovered? And what might they reveal about the broader fabric of our society and, well, the incredible everyday lives of those who came before us?
That's a great thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Myrtle Irene Currey's life. We really hope her story inspires you to maybe look a little closer at the rich narratives all around us, just waiting to be discovered in the everyday details of history. Until next time, keep exploring.